This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, it does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, July the 2nd of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida. Yeah, we're coming across that multiverse of ours, as we know as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big.
Yeah, hanging out on Radio Big, no doubt about that, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So there you go. How have you been? How's the last 24 or so been for you? As you been doing your thing, I've been doing my thing, and we kind of been going around doing stuff. So let's talk right away about what the hell happens on this show, because people ask me that question as we start, if you're starting at the beginning, because if you're not starting at the beginning, then it becomes a very awkward thing that the question even came up in the first place. So let's talk about this. We talk about safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of what we do. That is our thing. We bring in some professional level of broadcasters. They come in and talk. They do their giggo, and then we kind of move forward. That's it. That is the whole kit and caboodle. Seriously, that's the whole kit and caboodle. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go through this process in regards to talking about all the fun stuff, because this might be the easier way of doing so. So as we are hanging and we are doing our stuff, if you want to interact with the show, it's simple to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, and text messaging are the options. So there you go, callinradio.com. Yeah, listen to this because I was supposed to play it.
Good morning. It's 6 a.m. Time to rise and shine. Hey, go grab a cup of coffee. We'll be keeping you company all morning long. Are you ready for some fun?
Yes, of course I'm ready.
It starts now.
I'm wondering if he meant 6 a.m. Central, because it's sure as shit not 6 a.m. Eastern time. That's for sure. So there you go. So with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this? I mean, you are aware a couple of different things before I get too far into this. You are aware that this week, Saturday, is July the 4th. So a lot of people will probably be bailing. Like, I will tell you, I had a meeting that was scheduled for this week, earlier in the week. And the guy was very specific that if I met the person in person, no, not virtually, he was only available to the 30th. I was like, that's a nice little week. And I will tell you, I was emailing quite a few people yesterday. We'll leave that for a whole other conversation. And the amount of auto replies of people on vacation this week, holy monkeys. I must have scheduled my stuff wrong in regards to doing some of this. Anyways, let me not get too far into the weeds here, and let me go ahead and do this. Why don't we go ahead and bring in our friends from Feature Story News, let them tell you what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what they do. And then we'll just get moving and grooving. So if you're good with it, I'm good with it. We can get into the news right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
On Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bunden in Mumbai. At least 8 people have been killed after Russian forces launched a major missile and drone attack on the Ukrainian capital overnight. Qatar's foreign ministry has declared positive progress in indirect talks between the US and Iran in Doha, with mediators shuttling between the two delegations on issues tied to a memorandum of understanding. US President Donald Trump said denuclearization is moving along well, but Iran's deputy foreign minister says formal negotiations have not yet begun. Mitch McCann reports from New York.
I think what we have to remember here is that this is nothing new, and it's become a common practice for both nations not just to disagree on discussion points, but to disagree on the fact that they have even talked about these things. So we've seen that in the last couple of months as negotiations have been going back and forth. At the moment, it seems the key points of discussion are around the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's desire to enforce tolling, as well as financial arrangements, for example, the rollback of sanctions and money that's been withheld from the Iranian government, and also the ceasefire in Lebanon is another key point of discussion at the moment.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japan's Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi are meeting in New Delhi on Thursday, with joint declarations on economic security and artificial intelligence cooperation expected. Prime Minister Takaichi arrived in the Indian capital on Wednesday evening, accompanied by representatives from more than 150 Japanese companies and business organizations. One issue on the table is whether the two countries could move away from using the US dollar to settle bilateral trade. Ishan Garg has more from New Delhi.
Analysts in New Delhi say that there needs to be a counterbalancing influence to China's influence in the Indo-Pacific region. India, of course, has an unresolved border dispute with China. Japan has its own issues with China, and therefore there is a possibility of greater security cooperation, but also cooperation on other fronts where both countries have traditionally relied on China.
US President Donald Trump has dismissed conflict of interest criticism over more than $1 billion in cryptocurrency profits, telling reporters that outside funds manage his money and that he does not speak to the institutions handling his finances. Democrats say the president is using the office to enrich himself, with some calling it brazen corruption. Freddie Hayward, US correspondent for The New Statesman, says the scale of the profits could hurt Republicans at the midterm elections.
And I think that, of course, his hardcore, loyal fans will stay with him through thick and thin, but this is an increasing problem. But I think it speaks to a broader problem for him. He's not really engaged with creating a seismic, epochal legacy that he can hand down through generations.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN. Thousands of people have taken to the streets this week in parts of South Africa, with demonstrators demanding that all undocumented migrants leave the country. These are the biggest migration-related protests since a wave of anti-migrant violence in 2008. Isabel Nakiria reports.
Time is running out for undocumented migrants to leave South Africa after the June 30th deadline passed. Across the country, thousands of South Africans have taken to the streets, demanding that undocumented migrants leave their country. Now, most protests have remained peaceful, but in some townships, there have been incidents of looting and vandalism, targeting shops. Now, the police have been deployed in large numbers to help keep order, and several arrests have already been made. In major city centers, businesses have closed early or shut down completely, with many residents staying indoors. Now, authorities say buses are being used to help transport foreign nationals out of the country in an effort to avoid further tensions or attacks. In some areas, including Jamestown, protesters stormed some homes, claiming undocumented migrants were being sheltered there. South Africans are demanding that the government helps improve welfare and jobs that they claim migrants were enjoying.
Here's the main news again. At least 8 people have been killed after Russian forces launched a major missile and drone attack on the Ukrainian capital overnight. Qatar's foreign ministry has declared positive progress in indirect talks between the US and Iran in Doha. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi are meeting in New Delhi on Thursday. Joint declarations on economic security and artificial intelligence cooperation are expected. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bundin reporting.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from Jay Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, so here we go. Currently 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a lovely day, depending on the layout of the land is definitely what it sounds like. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on. So how excited are you about the 4th of July coming up? Seriously, a serious answer.
The 4th is almost here, but we got to light up your radio first.
Yeah, we're lighting up a whole bunch of stuff, that's for sure, as things are going on inside of the world of, the multiverse. So let's start getting into some news here. This was making the circuits yesterday, and we'll do some play-by-play stuff as we'll go through it. So a couple of things going on. 2 mass climbers were arrested after scaling the Empire State's building and climbing onto a 1,454-foot antenna. Where they displayed a banner reading, "When the power of love beats the power of the world knows peace." The 2 identified themselves on social media as Russian daredevils, of Ivan Burkus and Angela Nikolai, stars of a 2024 documentary, Skywalkers, a love story. Video from the stunt appeared on the show Burkus proposing to Nikolai at the top of the building before the 2 embrace. The climb prompted a major response from the NYPD, which closed nearby streets before taking the couple into custody after they descended. Authorities have not announced what charges they may face. The Empire State Building said that the incident posed no threat to visitors and reminded couples that its observation desk offers a much safer place for marriage proposals. I guess, anytime that you have a good level of marketing, it's time to do so. So if you were hanging out on CNN yesterday, you definitely got the play-by-play on what the hell was going on.
And he looks like he's proposing. Well, you can see that there was they put, it looks like a selfie stick up there.
Yeah.
Okay. It looked like there was just a proposal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that like a selfie stick? Yeah. Selfie stick. Yeah. Let's continue.
That's exactly right. This is the generation that cannot do anything without everyone watching.
Can we just stop for a second? Hold on one second, Juliet. So we saw a selfie stick, clearly looks like a selfie stick, go up. He goes on, or somebody went on one knee. We don't know what the gender of these individuals. Went on one knee. Looked like a proposal. They hug, and it looks like it's just being captured by somebody's cell phone. They're getting it.
It's probably streaming somewhere. Yeah, it's probably streaming somewhere live right now. I'm not able to access it. I've been given some links about who they are, but we'll let the reporters figure out who they are.
Hold on. So CNN are not saying so they're saying the reporters can figure it out. That's very confusing when it's all said and done. And I love how the lady's making the reference, the generation that everything must be. I mean, does not sound like an old person saying that shit whatsoever.
Duh.
Not at all. Here's another audio of a cop making contact with a couple. Take a listen to this.
Hello? How you doing? Can you just stay where you are? Rob, you good? How you doing? Well, you can't be up here. All right.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
Rob, come on. Give me this.
You guys gonna be cooperative?
You cooperate? Matt, you're on?
On pending room.
All right, bring her to the other side.
It's open over there.
Just bring her over there. So he can come down.
Just so you're,
before he goes back up. What language do you guys speak?
Russian.
All right.
I understand, but not so good.
So there you go. There's the cop point of view of what exactly is going on. Yeah, we try to bring it all to you. That way you can kind of take a listen to everything that's going on. But what an interesting time, right? So they climb, they get a proposal done, all that kind of fun stuff. and then all of a sudden they are arrested. Now, the question becomes, what are they getting arrested for, of course? Well, I'm assuming that it will probably be, I will probably be trespassing, will probably be one. Can it be public endangerment? Because I don't understand what level of the public would have been endangered, but let's just leave it at that. We'll figure it out as we are going. So a lot of stuff was happening yesterday. That was one thing. Then this was making the rounds late yesterday afternoon, evening time. So let's just kind of go through this. Former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was reportedly found unconscious at his Washington, D.C. home on June the 14th. Hold on, but this was making the rounds yesterday. After that, emergency dispatch audio described a possible cardiac event. According to reports from multiple media outlets, emergency responders were dispatched to McConnell's residence after the unconscious person was reported. The audio allegedly includes references to CPR being performed and possible cardiac arrest. And although those reports have not been independently verified, McConnell's office confirmed that the 84-year-old Kentucky senator was hospitalized on June the 14th and has not commented on the report of emergency audios or his specific medical conditions. His staff says that he is continuing to recover and remains involved in the Senate and Kentucky business and will not return to the Senate votes until after the current recess. So let's talk about this. Yesterday was July the 1st, you are aware. So this happened on the 14th. You were able, think about this for just a moment, we're able to hold this off and it actually hitting anything for almost 17 days. Not a bad little gig if you kind of think about it. 17-day head start, not bad. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things going on beginning the 4th of July.
The 4th of July.
Eligible children born between 2025 and 2028 can receive a free $1,000 government-funded investment account through President Trump's new Trump's account programs. The money is automatically invested into a low-cost stock market index fund, and families can contribute up to $5,000 annually until the child turns 18. The program is administered through the Treasury Department in partnership with Robinhood and the Bank of New York Mellon. Financial experts say the biggest benefit of the potential for decades is the compound growth, although they note that families should compare the accounts with other savings accounts like 529 plans or Roth IRAs based on their long-term goals. So there you go. $1,000 up to the year of 18, and then we'll go automatically there. So there you go. So can contribute up to $5,000 annually until they're 18. So $1,000, and then you can put up to $5,000 inside of there. You have to figure that out if it's affordable for your family or not to do that. I'm just saying, some things to think about. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff going on right now. President Trump paid tribute to Village People frontman Victor Willis following his death at the age of 74, calling him a great and happy guy. In a message on Truth Social, Trump praised Willis for supporting the use of the band's hit YMCA at rallies, saying that the song became a massive hit again decades after the original release, and that he thanks Willis every time that it was played, although Willis initially had reservation about Trump's campaign using the song. He later chose not to revoke permission after learning that the campaign had secured the proper political use license. In 2024, Willis said that Trump's use of the YMCA helped push the song to the top of the Billboard chart more than 45 years after the release and generated millions of dollars in additional revenue. He publicly thanked Trump for bringing a renewed attention to the classic hit, because it's always fun to stay at the YMCA. So there you go. What do you think? I'm just asking. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to do this against my better judgment because I hate bandwagon jumping, but I guess we're going to have to do this because it's part of the news stories. The United States is headed to the World Cup round of 16 after defeating Bosnia 2-0 despite playing the final 25 minutes with only 10 men. Valerian Balogun gave the Americans a 1-0 lead before halftime in the third goal of the tournament. However, he was shown the red card in the 64th minute of the video review determined that he fouled Bosnia's Tarek. I won't even attempt to pronounce the last name. Florian will miss the next match due to suspension. Down a player, the U.S. held off Bosnia before Malik Tillman sealed the victory in the 82nd minute with a curling free kick, whatever the hell that means. The first U.S. World Cup goal from the direct free kick since 1994. Christian Pulisic also had a goal disallowed for offside, but the Americans' defense stood strong to preserve the shutout. The victory marks just the second time the U.S. has won a World Cup knockout round match in the modern era, and sets the round 16 showdown with Belgium in Seattle. Are they going to be sleepless there? The Americans will be looking for an avenge their extra time loss to Belgium in the 2014 World Cup, but they also have to do it without Florian, who leads the team with 3 goals in the tournament. So hold on. The U.S. is trying to fight off the loss that they had in 2014. Do you want me to tell you the odds of how many players were there for 2014 that are going to be there in 2016? I mean, we are talking about a 12-year change here, a 12-year hiatus in regards that we're supposed to think about this. I mean, come on. It's kind of crazy to even think about that. Who was avenging what? Maybe it's a conversation. I mean, I don't know. It gets kind of weird when you really start thinking about it.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
So I have to tell you, I go to quite a few places quite often. Like, I travel to different states, and I have heard so far that at least there's 2 or 3 states that they refer to themselves as the capital of lightning for the United States. For some reason, I've heard that in Florida, I've heard it in Washington State, and I've also heard it in Colorado. But let's talk about this, because then we have to make a determination on how this works. A golfer was struck by lightning while playing at a Fox Hollow golf course in Lakewood, Colorado. As a thunderstorm moved through the area, the same lightning strikes also ignited a brush fire that eventually burned 2 acres before firefighters contained it. The golfer was taken into the hospital and released the following morning. Fire crews spent more than 4 hours extinguishing hot spots and used infrared equipment drones to make sure that the fire wouldn't reignite. No homes or buildings were threatened. That's one way to get a shocking scoreboard, is one way to think about it. So here's the thing. I mean, I understand the lightning strikes are a little bit more, occur more often than what you think in regards to people getting struck, but we'll leave that for a different conversation. But what do you think here? Doesn't that become kind of interesting? I think that you have to start now to determining what states do you want to visit. Maybe that should be like 3 that you take off the list. Something to think about. There. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about this, because I think sometimes we get weird about stuff, but let's continue. For some fans, admiring a celebrity doesn't just stop in life, it extends to the afterlife. Across the country, people are paying tens of thousands of dollars and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to be buried near famous actors, musicians, and cultural icons. One of them is tech investor Anthony Jabin, who spent $195,000 to buy a mausoleum crypt near Marilyn Monroe resting place in Los Angeles. He says that Monroe has been his favorite actress for years and even sends flowers to her grave every birthday. Hollywood Forever Cemetery says that the request for burial plots near celebrities happens regularly, with buyers especially asking to be close to Judy Garland, Johnny Ramone, and Neil Sedaka. Some premium burial places sell for more than, are you ready for this? I hope you're sitting. $6 million, where smaller niches near famous figures can cost tens of thousands of dollars. For artists like Jeffrey Dicker, paying more than $50,000 for a niche near Judy Garland was deeply personal. He says that The Wizard of Oz had a profound impact on his life, and many older LGBTQ fans also seek burial spaces near Garland because of her historic connection to the phrase Friends of Dorothy. The trend isn't limited to Hollywood. New York Woodlawn Cemetery attracts jazz fans who want to be buried near legends like Duke Ellington, Miles Davis, while Greenwood Cemetery has become a sought-after resting place because of its famous residents. So there you go. I mean, let me explain this because I really want to reference this. Because I love to say this, and I say this to people that I hang around quite often. There is a market for everything. And I do not joke as I say that, because here we are. Burial plots next to famous people. Think about this for a moment, because it's very interesting. You're not going to have any recollection of any of this shit. You're not even going to know if they really put you there, but you're spending buku money in regards to doing it. Now, listen, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not saying anything wrong with it, but just think about it. What a weird time. So there you go. What a weird time. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking real quick. Let's talk about two things if I got time real quick. Federal officers in port of Louisville, Kentucky seized a shipment of 375 counterfeit Audemars Piguet watches. If authentic, it would have been worth about $54 million. The fake luxury watches were shipped from Hong Kong and were headed to residence in New York before the U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers intercepted the package. Officials say that the counterfeit goods hurt legitimate business, fund organized crime, and continue to be major problems despite seizures. Louisville has become a frequent interception point for fake luxury watches with millions of dollars worth counterfeit Rolex, Cartier, and so on, and other high-end brands. So there you go. Talk about having too much time to fake time on your hands. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. What a weird time. Now, take a listen to this one because, we want to talk about AI with everything. A new AI power tool is helping reunite lost pets with their owners faster than ever after an Ohio family's missing kitten, Lucy, disappeared and ended up trapped under the hood of a stranger's car. The free Petco Love Lost database matched a photo uploaded with the Finder with the family's lost pet report in about 12 hours. Lucy was safely back home within 24 hours after disappearing. The AI system analyzes hundreds of visual features to identify pets, providing another layer of protection alongside collars and microchips, which in Lucy's case couldn't even be detected. Experts say the technology could be especially valuable during busy summer months when pets go missing. Something tells me that this will be put into humans shortly is definitely what it sounds like. So there you go. Anyways, it is 32 minutes. Well, really 33 at this point, minutes past the top of the hour. So let's do that thing that we do that we call our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, what an interesting time to be alive. But we normally use that for hour number 2. But I guess we're talking about it now during hour number 1. And don't worry, only hour 1 is on video. And the rest is kind of you're streaming with me on Radio Big if you're not already there now. Or you're listening to this on a podcast, so you would have to go find us on radiobig.fm. But we can leave that for another conversation. Now, I want to talk this morning about some interesting stuff, and hopefully it is morning if we're talking about this, or you're kind of maybe doing the time shift thing, so maybe I shouldn't get too hung up on some of the other things that are going on. So I want you to think about this for a moment. I want you to think about organizations, and I want you to think about the things that you create inside of an organization. I want you to think about all of this stuff. And the reason that I am bringing this up this morning, because I always find it very intriguing that when you go to work somewhere, you are giving up the rights to certain items. And there is a clause, and I'm trying to look at this because if not, I'm going to forget where I found it. There is a clause that occurs with most organizations that you work with that means that anything you create inside of an organization, they have the rights to it because you created it while you were there. Normally, it's something that's discussed when your onboarding process is going on, but some people forget about this. So I'm going to reference this real quick because I just want you to give kind of something simple as an example. There used to be this very famous famous professional wrestling logo that occurred many, many, many moons ago. Yeah, I'm going to quote ages here. I want to say that it became popular in the 90s, but there was a shirt that had an N, it had a W, and it had an O on it. In professional wrestling, it stood for something called the New World Order, or they referred to it as the NWO. So the person that created the logo said, I got zero compensation. She said that, as a matter of fact, I think that I have the t-shirt in the back of my closet. In the summer of 1996, while at the world was watched the Atlanta Olympics, a young Disney artist quietly made a wrestling history in just a few hours south. She had 1 hour to design the NWO logo, and she wasn't credited, wasn't paid extra, and didn't know that she had just changed wrestling history forever. Now, I will tell you that this logo is probably one of the most famous logos that you might ever see. Now, you might be asking this morning, why are we talking about professional wrestling when we're talking about safety and creation of stuff? Because here's what happens inside of organizations, and I'm going to tell you, timeline is always important. When you're going through the onboarding process, have you ever noticed the amount of malarkey you have to fill out? The amount of malarkey, because we can call it bullshit if you want to, but the amount of crap that you have to fill out just to get hired on or just to process everything. The reason why this is done at the very beginning on when you start is because the odds of pushback are extremely low of you doing anything. This is why they will give you all of these policies and procedures. Now, remember that you're expected to read them, and the moment you sign the sheet, it's not that you received it, it's that you agree with what was handed over to you. Now, I have done this jackass move for years that when I would sign off on something like that, I would put in the signature, I would sign my name and go, not agreeing to what said, just proof of receipt. People would be extremely pissed off that I would write that, but I thought it was hilarious at the time in regards to doing it. Now, I am referencing this because you are giving up some of your rights in regards of the work that you have created. Now, is that good? I don't know. Is that bad? I don't know. But it's something that needs to be discussed. Because, listen, I'm not going to say that you're going to run and make $1 billion with your creation. I hope you do. Don't get me wrong. But also at the same time, too, once you are giving this over, it's no longer yours. You have no rights to fight for it. You have no rights to claim towards it. So here's where it gets very weird. You are aware that some companies allow you to do what they call moonlighting, meaning that you can run something else out at the same time. I have an organization a while ago that I did some work with, and it was interesting to hear because this organization had hired 2 independents, and I know I'm kind of going off of left field here, and they had created a platform, and these 2 independents were about to be let go from this pretty large oil organization. And they said, you guys need to come up with something together. And with you coming up with something together, then we might keep you both on. But if you can't, we're letting you both go. So miraculously, they were able to come up with a concept together that they started to create for this organization. Now, the funny part was that they tested it in that organization, and then they left that organization, the 2, and started their own thing and sold this program elsewhere. Now, because they were independent contractors, they were able to do this. Now, here's the funny part. If you were an employee and you had created something and you were at an organization and you had signed off on the rights of anything you created there, you would not be able to take it away. Now, the other portion is that if you do off-branch work off of it, and there's legal terms for it, but we'll just talk about off-branch work or derivatives of regards of the work itself, then all of a sudden it would become an issue because you created it in quote-unquote their lab. Isn't it interesting that being an independent contractor would have a better benefit if you was working for your organization than opposed to being an employee? Isn't that weird? Now, I will tell you, there's a guy, what we'll call them a group, we'll call them a team, and they have this product that they claim that's pretty popular, and they will send cease and desist letters to people if someone talks about their concept and does a derivative of their concept. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that we've gotten into a world where some things have changed? Now, imagine, as you're looking through this, on how things work when it comes to the business format. So, if you create something new, the company wants to keep it if you're an employee. If you're a contractor, you might be able to take it. But if you're talking about somebody else's concept and you make it better, all of a sudden somebody wants to send you a cease and desist. Man, has things gotten stranger and stranger as we move forward.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time.
Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time.
All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Pop quiz hotshot. During a heat wave, what's more important, air conditioning or air guitar?
Is it air conditioning?
Air guitar. The answer is always air guitar.
I reach for something that feels alive, but every breath is just a guide. Pull the wire, bend the stream. Nothing's real, just another dream. Fragments of the real, they fade when I touch them. I can't tell what I feel.
Okay, here we go. Currently 45 minutes past the top of the hour. Whereas we're hanging out on this lovely Thursday. This right here, fragments of the real. I could tell you where you can get it, but here's the unfortunate place. There's nowhere where you can get it.
Neon sings.
Because this was created right here in-house. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We get bored around here sometimes and say, hey, let's start creating some weird stuff. Here we go. So yeah, fragments of the real playing right now. You can stream it, I guess, right here off of this episode. Are you ready?
Been uploaded, downloaded, erased, every memory perfectly replaced. They call it life, but it's just a feed, a loop,
So there you go. Yeah. I will get stuck playing this whole thing. I know how it goes. Yeah, they fade when the eye touch them. There you go. So let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's kind of what we do. And if anything, this will be the most important thing that I will tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and that healing is possible. Things can get better. Find out more information. All you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com to write love on her arms. Once you get there, all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. to write love on her arms. I'm going to tell you, you go to that website, it can change a lot of things for you. No doubt about that as we are talking. So there you go. Okay, so let me tell you, because we are just days away, 11 days to be exact. We got this little event coming up, taking place in Orlando at the Aloma Cinema Grill. If you go to safetyfm.io, you can find out more information. But what are we doing? We're doing a little event called Reality Shift, an observational symposium live here in Orlando featuring Todd Conklin, talking about human and organizational performance. Nick Weatherly will be there talking about behavior-based safety, and I will be there talking about Signal. We'll also have a level of, I guess a documentary is what we can call it, of what we'll be doing on that particular day. So it'll be a fun-packed day. The reason we're doing it on a Monday is that way you can hang out in Orlando if you want to over the weekend. And then we'll get everything moving and grooving for you. If you're on the screen arena, you can scan the barcode or the QR code that's right there. You scan that, it'll take you directly to the website, or you can go to safetyfm.io to find out more information. It's going to be an interesting day, to say the least. Let's not lie here, but what exactly is going on, because we're going to have some fun times as we are doing it. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. So with that being said, would love to see you here in Orlando doing all the fun stuff. No doubt about that. So Good times going forward. So with that being said, I do have John Small waiting in the wing, wanting to do all the fun stuff that he gets to do in regards to talking about the Motivation Minute. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this. And let's go ahead and get into that Motivation Minute right now with John Small from the John and Heidi Show.
The Motivation Minute.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Carrie. Harriet Beecher Stowe said, "Common sense is seeing things as they are and doing things as they ought to be." What a great quote. I know that sometimes we see the world through rose-colored glasses, but I also think some people see everything through glasses that are anything but rosy. They're a bit negative and gloomy. I recently mentioned my discussion with a reporter looking for a negative story. Imagine waking up every day looking for the worst things that happen in your community, trying to focus your time and energy on magnifying the worst things that happened last night, giving that negativity the center stage in your life each and every day in the name of news, in the erroneous belief that that's somehow what people want. No, they don't. That's just all you'll give them. Maybe that's why over 3,500 local newspapers have vanished since 2005.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Justice Department lawyers filed lawsuits challenging firearm restrictions in California and Virginia, opening a major new legal battle over constitutional rights.
Federal officials argued state regulations unlawfully restrict gun ownership protections guaranteed under federal law. Court proceedings are expected to shape future national debates over state authority and firearm regulation standards. Kyle Norris reporting.
Federal officials announced that the United States will not extend a major North American trade agreement early, preserving current terms while negotiations continue.
Government leaders confirmed the trade pact with Canada, and Mexico will remain unchanged until its scheduled expiration date. Economic analysts say the decision prevents immediate disruption, while future policy discussions continue. Jessica Oakley reporting.
European leaders gathered Wednesday as urgent diplomatic talks intensified over renewed Middle East tensions that are rattling markets and raising fears of a wider regional conflict.
Officials from several allied nations met after fresh military exchanges involving Iran triggered global concern, while energy markets reacted sharply. Negotiators are now pushing for emergency talks aimed at preventing further escalation across the region. Chris Anderson reporting.
International health agencies issued urgent warnings after an Ebola outbreak spread into a crowded displacement camp in Congo, creating fears of rapid transmission.
Medical teams reported new infections after the virus reached temporary shelters housing thousands of vulnerable residents. Health officials are expanding quarantine measures, while aid workers rush additional supplies into the affected region. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Authorities in New York detained 2 climbers after they scaled the Empire State Building and appeared to celebrate with an unexpected engagement high above Manhattan.
Police quickly secured the area after the pair reached the structure's upper tower carrying a banner. Investigators are reviewing security failures while the unusual stunt spreads rapidly online. Liam White reporting.
A powerful earthquake struck Venezuela on Tuesday, triggering an international emergency response and prompting large-scale rescue operations as damaged infrastructure left thousands displaced across several hard-hit communities.
Emergency crews began search operations after major structural damage hit multiple urban centers, while foreign military units joined relief efforts. Aid agencies are now racing to restore communications and provide shelter to affected residents. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Extreme heat warnings expanded across large sections of the country as dangerous temperatures threaten millions preparing for major holiday travel and outdoor gatherings.
Forecasters reported heat index readings exceeding 100 degrees across parts of the Midwest and East Coast. Emergency agencies are urging residents to limit outdoor exposure as conditions worsen. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Authorities across Northern Ireland and parts of Britain responded after anti-immigration unrest expanded into multiple cities, forcing emergency security deployments and raising new concerns over public safety.
Police arrested dozens after clashes broke out during competing demonstrations involving far-right groups and anti-racism activists. Government officials now face growing pressure to contain tensions before more planned gatherings occur. Gary Beck reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Listen to our host
Of the Rated R Safety Show.
self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Okay, so there you go. Some self-implosion going on Safety FM is what it sounds like. As long as it's not happening on the Radio Big side, I guess, is what they're trying to say. Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because it always seems to be a good time to do so. In 1956, Elvis Presley records Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel. In 1966, Billie Jean King wins her first of 6 Wimbledon singles titles. In 1976, Supreme Court ruled death penalty not inherently cruel or unusual. So there you go. That's some things to think about. Anyways, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Robert Ito turns 95. Richard Petty turns 89. Larry David turns 79. Michelle Branch turns 43. Johnny Weir turns 42. Ashley Tisdale turns 41 today. Lindsay Lohan, if you're ready for this, turns 40. And Margot Robbie turns 36 today. So there you go. That's some birthdays going on for you. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. President Trump says the extreme heat in Washington, D.C. won't stop him from delivering a lengthy 4th of July speech ahead of the nation's 250th anniversary. Speaking in North Dakota, Trump joked that he'll give a really long speech in the heat just to show that I can do anything. Well, he said temperatures could reach 107 degrees. The current forecast calls for a high of 101 degrees and a heat index to top about 110. So there you go. Okay, some other news real quick. Should we do this one? Yeah, let's do this one real quick. Former CIA Director John Brennan has filed a federal lawsuit asking a court order the Trump administration to preserve all records related to Justice Department investigation into him. The Justice Department has reportedly been investigating Brennan for months, interviewing former intelligence officers and officials, issuing subpoenas as part of the broader conspiracy probe. According to reports, investigators are examining allegations that Brennan and others violated President Trump's civil rights through actions tied to the Obama administration. Investigations into Trump's connection into Russia. Brennan has also been referred to as the Justice Department by the rep Jim Jordan, who alleges Brennan lied during congressional testimony in his lawsuit. Brennan is not seeking to stop the investigation. Instead, his attorneys want the court to ensure that all internal communications, documents, and other records connected to the probe are preserved. I don't think it's a lot to ask for, so there you go. Anyways, with that being said, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you're not listening to us on the simulcast over there already. So there you go. We will be talking about the world of music and entertainment if you go over there. If you don't want to go over there and you still want to remain on Safety FM, you can hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go, some options for you as we are talking. So with that being said, here's what I would like for you to do. Make your choice. Listen to whatever the hell you want to listen to. Let me share some words of wisdom with you. A winner listens and a loser just waits until it's his turn to talk. That's a little rough. And here's some advice for today. Choose 10-year move. Make a decision for your future self. It will thank you, not the version of you who's tired of today. Talk about who you want to be in 10 years. That can change some things for you. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
Binary gods on electric thrones. We build a cage and call it home. mistake. Every path I've ever known was written deep in machine tone.